Thank you. Now, back to the U.S., do you think that enough state funds in comparison with federal funds are going towards Alaskan infrastructure? Do you think that Alaska depends too much on Fed funds, that oil revenues in the public sector are not being used as well as they could be to attract immigration to the state, to produce other industries, to develop more infrastructure?
That's a long, complicated question. I would say that one of our big challenges is that because we have been so successful in developing our petroleum resources, we have now significant public funds that we can either save or spend on infrastructure, or spend on programs, or distribute back to individuals, or try to develop new industries. There is a lot of pressure to try to use that money to develop new industries, to diversify ourselves away from petroleum. But and there's a sense that if we put enough money into an industry, we'll be successful. But the problem is that the economics for a lot of these other industries that people are thinking about don't really work because of our isolated location and our high costs. We are just not cost competitive in a lot of areas. And so you look at something like our mining industry, and yes, we have a lot of mineral deposits, but it's only the very largest ones that are economically viable. You have to have a very large deposit to overcome the high costs of logistics and just distance from markets and high costs of labor and so on. So it's frustrating, particularly for politicians who would like to see economic growth in areas other than petroleum, and would like to be able to say we're diversifying the economy. It's frustrating that it's extremely difficult to do. We've been trying to do that for the last 50 years since we became a state, and we realized that economic diversification away from our traditional natural resource like mining and fishing would strengthen the economy, but we've only had very limited success in the last 50 years.
Now, just to end the interview, this is a question we came up with that it's very hypothetical. But last year, the climate change conference in Cancun, Mexico, many experts predicted rises in temperature between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius or 3 and 7 degrees Fahrenheit, which would basically apparently melt the polar ices as well as Alaska's permafrosts and much of the snow. It would change a lot of the climate. Do you think that could end the cost difference between Alaska and other states, that maybe global warming could actually benefit Alaska, that could help it out to reduce its isolation and costs?
Another $64 question. It's extremely hard to tell. Let me just suggest a couple of things. One is that the warming of the planet could open up the northwest passage, that is the sea route from the Far East to Europe over Canada, the northern part of Canada. That were to happen, that could have some positive effect on Alaska's development and its connection to the rest of the world, because that would put Western Alaska sort of right in the middle between China and Europe. The other thing is that one of the things we've already experienced is a phenomenon up on the North Slope where the oil is onshore. A lot of the North Shore onshore is tundra, which it's frozen tundra, which means that for a short period of time during the summer, it's very boggy, and exploration and development of oil in northern Alaska really onshore has to take place in the winter. So you have to wait till everything freezes up, and then you build roads out of ice, and then you move around on the ice roads. So what's been happening in the last 20 years is that that winter season when you could explore and develop on the North Slope has been, because of warming, has been getting shorter and shorter. So that has put that's added, if you will, to the cost of exploration and development up on the North Slope. So there's an example where warming has just the opposite kind of effect than you might expect. So it's a complicated question. There'll be pluses and minuses, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Thank you, Mr. Goldsmith. It's been a real pleasure. I'm Andy Binker-Cosen from 21 Stocks.